Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the last Slipstream episode of the year. I'm Ash.
I'm Trey.
I'm Sachet.
And to end this year off on a high, we're going over the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix.
Oh
Yay.
my gosh, this
Yes.
has to be the best season finale that we have seen since 2021, you know?
I agree. This was incredible. So let's get into the circuit and free practice a little bit. So the Yas Marina circuit, my favorite circuit, by the way. It's a beautiful, beautiful circuit. It's the
Really?
Hmm.
It's the only track on the F1 calendar that's located on a man-made island, and it's also the final race on the calendar for the past 12 consecutive seasons.
And it definitely sounds like a great honor to have the last race of any motorsport season in your country, but it does mean less considering that they kind of pay their way to be the last race of the season.
Indeed, indeed. And with that sort of payment, because as we've seen from previous seasons, the fan would much rather have a finale in Brazil, considering it has more racing and pit lane action or
It,
potential
but it
thereof.
doesn't take away from the fact that it's a great circuit, and honestly, it is, for me, top 10 worthy, you know?
Same here, same here.
Yep, I totally agree. It's one of my like top three favorites, I would say. But that doesn't take away what the circuit has to offer. It has 16 corners counterclockwise, just over 5 kilometers, and including the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix of 2021, if you guys want to discuss that.
So, the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix of 2021 is arguably the best Grand Prix in Formula One history.
Oh,
It is
absolutely.
it
It
is
those it is
where
one for
the
the history books.
Verstappen is
Indeed.
where the Verstappen Hamilton title fight came to a head, where they both came into the final race of the season tied in
Hmm.
points at 369 and a half points.
Yes.
And think about it. These two had been ambushing, pushing, slewing, thrashing each other all over the track, just about every corner, every main straightaway, every qualifying session, every free practice where they were extracting every piece of performance from that car. It was a title fight for the ages. Arguably enough, I would say it is more enthralling than the Prost Senna fight.
Yes, for sure. And at this Grand Prix, Verstappen, dramatically won his first Formula One championship by overtaking Lewis Hamilton on the final lap. And so that was kind of on a technicality. And so this awarded Verstappen his first Formula One World Championship win and took away Lewis Hamilton's eighth, I believe.
Yeah, Hamilton could have gotten his eighth world championship and broken the all-time World Drivers' Championship record,
Hmm.
but it was a very controversial racing call, and it was,
Yes.
Michael Masi, Toto Wolff getting into it, Christian Horner kind of on the sidelines, watching everything, come to a head and just all fall down. But as many fan bases have said, as many people in the fan bases have said, Verstappen definitely deserved this title because he worked so hard for it and fell victim to circumstance, but Hamilton deserved this race win in specifics.
I do agree. So going into the 2025 Abu Dhabi free practice a little bit, in both FP1 and FP2, we saw that Norris set the fastest time, while Verstappen closely followed up in second, which would kind of foreshadow how the season would end if you looked at it retrospectively. And so the Brit was seeking out his first chance at glory, while the Dutchman was looking to tie history with some of the greats in the sport.
Absolutely. And I mean, speaking of great, we saw a pretty great showing from Oliver Behrman, who managed to finish P6 and P7 in the last two free practice sessions. But inversely, we saw Hamilton pull a bit of a Latifi style performance
Mhm.
2021 at
Hmm.
the third to final quarter in FP3, and he spun out and hit the wall for the last time this season.
Yes.
What a way to go out.
Yeah,
Yep.
honestly, I mean, and considering the fact that he had been underperforming pretty much this whole weekend, I genuinely felt like we could have seen another 2021 kind of, storyline play out.
Yes, but unfortunately, that did not happen. And so, going into the qualifying in the Grand Prix, Colapinto and Gasly line up at the rear of the field as per usual in P19 and P20. And Alpine, mm, we just a trash car, and we just had to we
All we
just
have to
had
say
to
is goodbye, rental engines. You are
yes.
now useless. You don't
Yes.
serve any purpose.
And so again, Hamilton gets knocked out in Q1 less than a tenth of a second, which is kind of like pattern recognition at this point. And so it's really, really like sad to see him struggle in a Haas v F21 kind of way. But what really got to us was seeing Hamilton in tears in the garage. And that
Oh,
tells you
yeah.
everything about his year, both in and out of the cockpit.
Well, I mean, that was, I think, due to a lot of life circumstances he was facing at the time. Like, not only were the cars crap during this particular race, he also lost a pet that he'd had over a decade. And your first ever racing season in your career without a podium, getting no moral nor mental support for your team. I mean, that'd be more of a reason, if any, to just quit the sport entirely with such a mental state and with such adverse conditions.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I'm not saying that you have to have some kind of, like romantic partner to give you moral support or back you up or make you feel better. It's not, their duty to do so. But I feel like Hamilton also, being one of the few drivers that is not in an active relationship, does kind of play a part. But then again, he does have a lot of support from the fan bases. Well, actually, I don't even know what I'm saying at this point. The support is very much on and off, and who knows where he's getting the support, but all I can say is like the poor guy has been through it.
I'm sorry, man. But yeah, he really has. He really has.
Yeah, and be Hamilton being such an experienced driver, he's had a lot of ups and downs, but I feel like this is kind of one of the worst years of his career. And yeah, it's totally understandable. But moving forward to Q2, we see Antonelli get knocked out, which doesn't sound too impactful, but actually he's been fighting Hamilton for P6 in the Drivers' Championship in the remaining quarter of the race, which is amazing if you think about a rookie in Mercedes challenging another former Mercedes seven-time world championship driver.
Yeah, I mean, like,
The
just
irony of it all.
it just makes me say, wow,
Yeah.
he really was able to pull that off. He
Hmm.
did that on his own. He had little to no prior training, and he just hopped in there and he managed to accomplish this. He managed to accomplish that. And
Hmm.
he's a rookie, so of course he's going to make mistakes here and there. That's kind of expected in order for him to grow.
Yeah, and this is not even taking into account that any European race he had before wasn't something he accomplished. So to see a rookie do something as great as this is just absolutely astounding. And I think it just goes to show how great a rookie can be if you kind of just, let them do their own thing. Because I would argue that's where the potential for them to shine most likely comes out.
Yeah, that happens on like I feel like that kind of freedom is only given to more experienced drivers. And so keeping such a tight leash on Hamilton just doesn't sit right with me considering the years of experience he has. And I feel like they should really consider his input in the team. But you can see the inverse happen at Red Bull all the time where we've spoken about this before, but Verstappen does just gives his input, the team accepts it, or Verstappen just doesn't listen, and like it's always for the better. And so, I mean, yeah, it's just really incredible to see Antonelli chopping it up with Hamilton.
So moving on to Q3, Tsunoda made it once again, but yet again he failed to set a time, and he had to line
Typical
up in
Sonoda.
P10, and it gave. I know, he hasn't been the best, and
Yeah.
honestly can't sugarcoat his bad performances, but. It did indeed give Bortoleto and Ocon chances to shine yet again and prove why they still have a spot in Formula One. But for now, the only thing that mattered was the Norris, Verstappen, Piastri three-way fight for pole position. The latter of which would take the front spot on the grid, and he would have a chance to go for his fifth World Drivers' Championship in a row, which would tie Michael Schumacher for the most world titles won consecutively by a race car driver.
Yep, and I really wanted Verstappen to win this and really pull it off. And for the first, so that I'll get into that a little bit later. For the final time, the lights go out and the drivers race at Yas Marina. And it was so cinematic because the sun was setting on the palm trees and all the drivers take off for the last time this season. And I was sitting straight up in my seat watching this race, and everyone has a clean getaway for the first time in a while, that the first quarter of the race
Race of the
races
race,
by.
Yeah,
yeah. But the big thing is the crucial move was Piastri getting past Norris just for lap two at
Yes.
the second hairpin on the track. And he managed to get out of his DRS range, and Leclerc was following up Norris close behind and challenging him for third place on the road. Now,
And
how
don't forget,
riveting is that for the
very,
title?
yes, and
very.
I know, just don't forget Hulkenberg. He really shined in this final race of the season by holding up the fastest lap for quite some time.
Oh, absolutely. I
Yeah.
mean, when it comes, I just gotta say something about Hulkenberg. He is the best of the worst. So by
Yeah.
best of the worst, I mean people who aren't particularly in a front running position and barely, and I mean barely get podiums, but still manage to put out some pretty decent results and bring their car up where it needs to be. Hulkenberg is an example of that. I mean, he had 250, 239 races before he finally got his first podium, but he still had a presence in F1, which says a lot about his value.
Indeed, indeed. And while Lawson was busy collecting another 5 second time penalty, Russell was busy collecting his driving style to style and undercut Leclerc.
Yeah, he was trying to undercut Leclerc at the first leg of pit stops,
Yeah, sounds about
and
right.
people don't realize how dangerous this could have been for McLaren because if Leclerc had managed to catch a hold of this undercut, and if he had, like, I don't know, pitted maybe a lap earlier or a lap later, he would have been able to stay within Lando Norris's DRS, and he could have overtaken him. And provided that he would have been able to hold him up, it would have given Verstappen the title.
And speaking of dangerous, Sonoda pulled a last minute maneuver to the left and almost, like, just barely took Norris out of the race and the title fight. And so it was a critical move that didn't happen. And so the engineers were telling him to, I think it was just to keep racing Norris and to keep up the pace. And he was like, leave me alone. I got this. He did not, in fact, got this. And
Sorry to
so
see
what
that.
happened was that he was supposed, as a F1 fan, I was praying that Sonoda would keep up the pace and really give Norris a good challenge in a good racing battle, so in order to give Verstappen a little edge there. And that did not happen. It was, again, what I said, maneuver to the left, and did not take Norris out of the race, but that's fine.
What was that tone of voice? It sounds like you kind of wanted
Yeah.
him to.
Yes, I wanted Verstappen to win very badly, but that does not take away from Norris having the most incredible race of the season. He drove incredibly, and I just have to give props to that because I have not seen a better performance than that, or Hamilton's continuous rise from P19 in some races, and Verstappen's. There was one race where Verstappen went from, I think, P17 to like
It
P.
was Brazil 2024.
No, it was earlier this season in this race. Um,
Hmm.
but anyways, yes, that going back to my point, Norris did race amazingly. And so going back to the race, there was not much racing action aside from Hamilton crawling up to seventh place and both Alpine drivers pitting again and ending up a lap behind the rest of the field.
And it absolutely sums their season to a T. And the commentators were very much in the right to say that this is the worst way that Renault could have
Mhm.
ended their tenure as engine suppliers in Formula One. And as for Flavio Briatore, who was, hyping up all of the Renault engines and the collabs and everything that they could extract out of their performance, it's like, you want to try that again, cheater?
Yeah, though in the end, it was a clean race in the final 10 laps where Verstappen won the race by miles, and Piastri came in second, with Norris coming in third.
And Norris won the world championship by 2 points.
Points.
Personally, congratulations. He absolutely earned it.
Yes, he definitely did. And all favorite drivers, favorite teams just like go out the window when you see the absolute joy each racer or each driver gets when he earns that world championship. And it was so sweet to see him crying and his mom especially hugging him. And I think my favorite moment of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix was when Carlos Sainz came over to congratulate
Oh
him. It was the
yes.
most
Oh, that was
adorable
so.
friendship moment I could ever experience. And it was just, it made me very nostalgic it made me miss them as teammates.
Yeah, you sometimes forget that these drivers were teammates at one point.
Yes.
I forgot
I,
about it was 2019 and 2020, right?
yes, it was. And I got flashbacks to seeing them in McLaren again. And it was just the most nostalgic, like, congratulations moment. I loved it so much. But yeah, it was an incredible race. or excuse me, Norris definitely deserved that win after this race. Like he raced so incredibly. And so you ended with a podium of Verstappen in first, Piastri in second, and Norris in third.
Yep, the three-way fight for the championship came to a head at the very final race, with all three drivers taken to the top steps in the best
Mhm.
way possible. But the one thing that ruined it was Zach Brown. Hey, Lando Norris, is this the championship hotline? Like,
Um,
shut up, you McDonald's stuffing up.
It was so bad. I
what a
was
way
trying
to
to
ruin
savor
the
his
moment.
win, and I see this live. I'm trying to savor his win, and he comes on, and he's like, "Hello, Lando. This is Zach Brown of McLaren? Is this the
Why?
championship hotline?"
Why?
Oh God! Like he couldn't have said something normal. Like,
See,
yes,
this is why
we are
people are hating
we're
on
the world
Norris.
champion. Like, oh
This is why
God.
people are hating on Norris, you big fat marshmallow.
Oh my gosh, the comments on Instagram under this was brutal. It was like,
No, the
oh,
amount of
he
memes
had
I would
to.
see of GIFs, of Jose
Yes,
Mourinho throwing his headset and
I
people just
know.
rubbing
Oh,
their
that one is my
hands.
favorite, where Toto Wolff is throwing his headset. Like, Zach Brown, you couldn't have said something normal. But I
No,
think
Zach,
my
that was so not right.
but I think my favorite is, oh, Zach Brown just had to American all over it.
Yeah, it's like, and also let's not forget, who was it? MBS, yes, Mohammed bin Sulayem
Oh yes.
rubbing Norris's hair. Like, Sulayem, this is why people make fun of you for being.
It
Yeah.
was it was
I don't
definitely
know.
kind of weird because he was awarding him the medal and he like forcibly took Lando's cap off and like gave him like a weird like rub on the head or something and
A
then put
weird
his cap
noogie.
back on.
Sorry.
Like
Like, I don't discriminate against any groups of people. I don't discriminate against Arabs, but Mohammed bin Sulayem is the exception because he is a menace and he is cringy and he is corrupt and he is everything that makes a man bad.
yeah, if you don't know who that is, he's the head of the FIA. But yeah, I think this those two things with Zach Brown and Salim, it's just a terrible way to celebrate your first world
You
championship.
think?
But what's even worse is the fact that do you saw the one British journalist interview for Verstappen asking him
Oh
whether or
yeah.
not
You
Barcelona.
literally
Yeah,
watched
we were
this
literally
not
watching
before the
this before
recording.
the
Yeah.
recording. How a British journalist asked Verstappen whether or not he thought that the Barcelona Russell Verstappen collision cost him the title because if you remember, he bumped
Yes.
into Russell intentionally, got a
Mhm.
10-second time penalty, and lost 8 points because of it. And
Mhm.
all I gotta say is Verstappen handled it the best way he could. I would have personally punched the journalist in the face.
Yeah, that was a very rude, well, I wouldn't say that's a rude question, actually looking back on it, because I think that was the question on everyone's mind, because I had the same question myself, and I don't know, I don't know, I probably would have asked that question if I was being a good reporter, trying to
I
start a
think,
little drama, but
but
yeah.
I think you know that there's a time and a place, though.
Yeah.
Well, I would say that I think I would still ask that question because it is good journalism. You want to genuinely know the driver's thoughts. It's probably not like coming down from like a just like a 2 point lost championship. It's devastating, but that's what a good reporter does. I don't think they did anything wrong, but it was the like top question on everyone's mind. Like, could he have won if he didn't intentionally bump into Russell? And there's just a lot of if, but and we couldn't have really known. But the other most exciting thing at this race was the Jenson Button interview.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that was absolutely awesome. And just one thing we got to mention as a bit of a trivia thing, Jenson Button was the first person to press the DRS button.
Yes.
So Button pressed the button.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
Of course.
That's really funny. But yeah, this is Jensen Button's last year being a commentator, and that's sad. I love Jensen Button. There's no one to rival Danica Patrick anymore.
Oh
Also,
yeah.
going back to the whole DRS button thing, Antonelli was the last guy to press DRS in
Oh yeah.
2025.
It's definitely the end of an era, but let's
Mm-hmm.
go ahead and summarize the season for you. I have the top 10 drivers of the 2025 Formula One season. Lando Norris, he obviously wins the championship with 423 points, 7 wins and 18 podiums. Max
Hmm.
Verstappen with 421 points, 8 wins, 15 podiums. Piastri for 10 points, 7 wins, 16 podiums. George Russell rounds up the wins with 2 wins and 9 podiums. Meanwhile, he has 319 points. Leclerc has 7 podiums and it consists of 242 points. Hamilton is the first season that he has finished off of the podium. He has not finished on the podium a single time this season.
Yep.
Moving on, Antonelli came in seventh place, just behind Hamilton with 150 points, 3 podiums for him. Alex Albon in eighth for Williams, 73 points. Carlos Sainz for Williams finished in ninth place with 64 points and 2 podiums, so a very solid rookie year at Williams for him. And
Mhm.
Fernando Alonso, the forever rookie, who we recently learned is about to become a father, just manages to squeeze into the top 10 with 56 points.
And that
I didn't
was
say so myself.
Yeah, I mean, what a year it has been
Indeed.
covering not just Formula One and all of these special reports and doing all these flashpoint stories, but just all of this, racing. And guys, I just gotta say thank you guys. Thank you guys both for making this such a fun semester for me.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh
It was a lot of
yes.
fun sharing my insights and like seeing how, drivers continuously fight their way to top and all the rivalries that happen between. It's fun to talk about. It's fun to talk about.
So yeah, I mean, we are definitely going to be coming back for next semester sometime, probably in mid-January. We will be discussing that off the program, but thank you guys so much for watching this podcast for the year. Make sure you catch on YouTube Shorts our little send-off message. We will both send you a couple of send-off messages on Shorts. Follow us on Spotify, follow us on Instagram. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, like, favorite, comment, turn on notifications. And yeah, that wraps it up. I'm Trey.
I'm Ash.
I'm Sachin.
And goodbye for now.
Yes, bye. Love you all.
Take care.
Yo, it's Trey from the Slipstream Podcast.
And Sasha from Slipstream Podcast.
We just wanted to say thank you so much for tuning in to the podcast this semester. We've had such a fun time commentating and going over all these stories and races and live events for you guys. Just as an announcement, I will have a few more YouTube shorts scheduled up until December 18th. All of them are going to be uploaded at noon, except for this Saturday and Sunday, 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. respectively. Make sure you look out for that. And what else are you going to say?
Yeah, no, it's just been great being,
here, recording all our insights, our hot takes, all our opinions on all the crazy shenanigans that are happening in the pit lane throughout the 2025 season. And we can't wait to see you guys on the other side of the pit lane, where we will hopefully have more stuff to talk about, because this ain't over yet.
Yep. So make sure to keep up the speed, and we will see you in January. Peace out.